So let's take a look at the conjugate vaccine. So just like the subunit vaccine, the conjugate vaccine is also made using a part or a fragment of the pathogen itself. Okay, now I'm going to deviate a little. You see, the body's immune system will always want to get rid of anything that is foreign, anything it cannot recognize. Okay, now there are also some pathogens that have the ability, they are very sneaky. So they have the ability to get into the body and not being recognized by the immune system. So they are there, but the immune system is not able to recognize it. And that can be very deadly. That can be a very serious issue. So what the scientists do, they came up with the conjugate vaccine. So how is the conjugate vaccine produced? Let's assume that this is a bacteria or a virus, okay, that cause a particular disease. Let's use example of this vaccine or example of the organism that is that can't be identified by the immune system is the HIB. That's the Haemophilus influenza type B. Okay, the Haemophilus influenza type B. Now, when this gets into the body, the immune system is not able to recognize it. So, how is the conjugate vaccine made? Firstly, what they do is that they pick out a part, a protein from the pathogen itself. So they isolate that part. So let's assume this is the isolated part. This is the protein that cannot be recognized by the immune system. So what the scientists do, they had to add something that can be recognized by the immune system. And what is that? They added what we call a carrier protein. Okay, so with this carrier protein, sometimes it's called haptin. This carrier protein is recognized by the immune system of the body. However, this protein of this virus or bacteria, it's not recognized. So what happens is that the moment they attach the carrier protein, the body will be able to recognize that there is a carrier protein and also there is something attached to the carrier protein. So whenever the body's immune system is acting on the carrier protein, it's going to also act on the protein that can cause the disease. So you can see that this is one of the most unique vaccines we have. Yeah, that's because the body, imagine that the body doesn't recognize a pathogen when it gets into the body. That pathogen can cause havoc. Yes, it can cause series of deaths. In fact, if it gets into a particular population, it can wipe the population in a glimpse. So this vaccine is very important. It's very important. I'll reiterate, how is it made? We pick out the protein, right? And we attach it with a carrier protein called the haptin. So we attach that carrier protein to the protein that cannot be identified. So this particular one cannot be identified by the immune system. However, the carrier protein can be identified by the immune system. So whenever this gets into the body, whenever this gets into the body, what happens is that as long as the body can recognize the carrier protein, it can also recognize the protein causing the disease, the antigen. Okay, so this is how the conjugate vaccine rather are made.